Jinger Duggar praised by Jedidiah Duggar after podcast comments. Introduction. Brief overview of the Duggar family's prominence and public image. Introduction to Jinger Duggar's recent podcast appearance. Mention of Jedidiah Duggar's supportive response. Background on the Duggar family. Overview of the Duggar family's background, including their TV show, 19 Kids and Counting, and its impact. Discussion of the family's public and religious stance over the years. Brief profiles of Jinger and Jedidiah Duggar. Jinger Duggar's podcast appearance. Details of the podcast episode, host, platform, and key themes. Summary of Jinger Duggar's comments. Focus on her personal experiences, challenges, and perspectives. Any notable quotes or excerpts from the podcast. Public and media reaction. Overview of public reactions to Jinger's podcast comments. Media coverage and analysis of her statements. How her comments diverge from or align with the family's previous public image. Jedidiah Duggar's praise. Description of Jedidiah Duggar's public statement or social media post praising Jinger. Analysis of Jedidiah's remarks. Support for Jinger's views, family dynamics, and implications. Context of Jedidiah's own public image and previous statements. Impact on the Duggar family's public image. Exploration of how Jinger's comments and Jedidiah's support might influence the Duggar family's reputation. Possible implications for the family's future media presence and public engagements. Discussion of any shifts in public perception or family dynamics. Reactions from other family members. Summary of reactions from other Duggar family members, if available. Comparison of their responses to Jedidiah's praise and Jinger's comments. Long-term implications. Speculation on the long-term effects of Jinger's podcast appearance on her career and personal life. Potential impact on the Duggar family's brand and public image. Insights into possible future developments in the family's media presence or public statements. Conclusion. Recap of the key points. Jinger Duggar's podcast comments, Jedidiah Duggar's praise, and the broader implications. Reflection on the significance of these events in the context of the Duggar family's history and public persona. Additional resources. Links to the podcast episode, relevant social media posts, and related news articles. Further reading or viewing recommendations on the Duggar family and their media presence. Jinger Duggar praised by Jedidiah Duggar after podcast comments. Jinger Duggar may have gone Hollywood, but she isn't changing her beliefs to fit her new lifestyle in Los Angeles. The Counting On star has been appearing on podcasts to promote her book and the causes she supports. She has been a very conservative Christian, though some of her beliefs have morphed into more mainstream ideas. Jinger wears pants and shorts and is no longer bound by the modesty rules her father, Jim Bob Duggar, set forth for her and her sisters. While appearing on the Lila Rose podcast, Jinger expressed her pro-life views using her sister, Josie Duggar's story. Anyone who follows Jinger or any member of the Duggar family knows their views, yet the comment section was met with people who were riled up about the reality TV star's comments. However, Jedidiah Duggar came to his sister's rescue with praise. Jedidiah Duggar praises Jinger Duggar's comments on Lila Rose podcast. The marketing team for the podcast knew what clip to use to draw attention to the podcast episode while also tagging Jinger Duggar on Instagram. Jinger discussed her pro-choice stance and used Josie Duggar's birth story as an example of why she feels the way she does. However, based on the caption for the share, Jinger talked about much more. She was there to promote her book and discuss her fear while growing up under Bill Gothard's teachings. She wrote a book about fear of God and feared that something terrible would happen if she strayed even just a bit. Jinger dealt with her fear-based beliefs and untangled them as she decided to make her own choices after seeking the answers in the Bible. Her comments about being pro-choice garnered a "well put sis" from Jedidiah Duggar. He ran for office on a very conservative platform, which wasn't surprising given his background. A critic responded to his comment with a clown emoji. What happened to Josie Duggar? Josie Duggar is the 19th child of Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar. She was born on December 10, 2009, at just 25 weeks gestation. There were many touch-and-go moments after her birth because she was born just at the cusp of what would be considered a viable baby outside of the womb. Michelle spent time with her in the hospital, but it would be months before Josie recovered and gained the strength needed to be away from the medical interventions that saved her life. Jinger Duggar used Josie's story to accentuate her point on the podcast. She was the Duggar miracle baby, but it didn't come without scary medical issues moving forward. Who could forget Josie's seizure while her parents were away and Jana Duggar was in charge? Having Jedidiah Duggar show up to praise his sister's comments was unsurprising. Still, it was interesting that he decided to post because, typically, he and Caitlin Nakatsu aren't active aside from sharing photos. Jinger Duggar, a member of the Duggar family known for their reality TV show, 19 Kids and Counting, has been receiving praise from her brother Jedidiah Duggar after making comments on a podcast. Ginger's recent podcast appearance garnered attention for her candid reflections on her life and experiences within the Duggar family. Her comments were seen as a departure from the more conservative views typically associated with the family. Jedidiah Duggar, who is also a part of the Duggar family, publicly commended Jinger for her honesty and bravery in addressing her personal journey and experiences. He acknowledged the courage it takes to speak out and praised her for being authentic and true to herself. This support from Jedidiah underscores a positive family dynamic and highlights the evolving perspectives within the Duggar family.